welcome to episode 11 of the Full-Time Banter Show. This is part 1, the Fantasy League section. My name is Tariq.
I'm Liam.
I'm Riz.
Make sure you like, share and subscribe. Leave any comments in the comment section below. And do go on Twitter and follow us at Full-Time Banter 7.
Thank you.
All one word. Lots of useful info getting going up and really good fun, good banter these days while the Champions League is on as well. So yeah, I can highly recommend getting on the old Twitteroo.
Yes.
But straight in, we're not going to waste any time today. Liam, give us the Full-Time Banter League top 10 as it stands after game week 5.
Well, thanks, great mates. At number 10 we have Daniel Shaw and Dantown with a new entry, 340 points. Number 9, the big drop of the week. He's fallen from his perch. Tariq has been knocked off first to 9th and 340 points. What happened, mate? We'll find out later on. Also, number 8, up from 10, 340 points. Triple X Joe Gallagher. Bit of a dodgy moonshine name there, maybe. Number 7, up from 9, Chris Hines, Show Me Damani on 347. Also, new entry, Bill City FC and Billy Mottram at 6. Number 5, Gulshan Jain, You Talking to Me, down from 3, up from 5. You talking to me. Up from 5 to 4, Mighty Reds Wannabes, Andrew Mercer, 353, 1 point ahead. A new entry, quite literally out of nowhere, because I don't think he's been in the league before. And Adam Omar, Metamorphosis Plus, a new entry. Don't know where he's come from. Garthatron making that second place his own at 358. And number 1, Santosh Kanake, Gunning San at 374 points. Rocking it, mate.
And you know what, yeah.
SKK.
Give him a big up, didn't we? That's what it was. That's what brought him up there. And a good score as well, 88 in there, 90 in there. We're going to talk about that this funny old game week later. But before we do, let's have a quick rattle through the highest and lowest scorers of the week, which incidentally have something in common. But the lowest scorer of the week this week, Munchachanda. Should have let you say that one. Munchachanda. Yes, Munchachanda, Joseph Khan.
Are you sure it's his real name? Joseph?
I don't know.
Joseph Khan?
Yes. Joseph Khan.
Joseph Khan, by the looks of this.
Clearly, Joseph clearly can't. Not yet, anyway. He's got the lowest score, 22 points, after playing his wild card, which is just ridiculous. To be fair, it's quite a poor wild card. He's got 2s all across the board, across midfield. A little like myself, but he's got all 5. But yeah, two Liverpool players, 2 Chelsea, and Ward out of nowhere, and Okazaki. What is going on there? But yeah, Joseph Khan, 106th currently out of 107.
Ooh.
Yeah, good showing. 182 points total. Keep trying, Joseph. Riz, do you want to give us the highest?
Yeah, so like you said, we've got highest point of Sebi, which is Simmy, do the shimmy. Looks like that, 5 points there.
Mary Poppins.
Simmy. Yeah. Overall ranking, 22nd with a total of 316 points. And if you're going to do a wild card...
316 says, I just kicked your ass.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
yes, on the
I know
reference.
you like that one. Overall, 95 points, so looking strong that wild card. I think the defence helped out, especially with Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
Was the differential there. I mean, obviously Alonso and Pereira didn't quite do much, but then the midfield choice of Hazard as captain, that was a shrewd move. Points there. Hojbjerg, another 10 points. Maddison, the chap I talk about quite a bit, 8 points there. And Aguero, Zaha and Wilson, pretty steady overall, front 3, so kind of grumbled.
Yeah.
Just one final point on that one though.
Yeah.
His bench looks decent as well, so considering he's used a wild card,
But
he's got options.
Yeah, so he's obviously kept Richard, or has he brought him in? Has he brought him in on
Don't know.
Bennett with a 6 and a Mendy obviously not playing. But yeah, well played. Wild card there, to be honest. So well done, Sebi or Simmy. Yeah. A lot of people suffered with keeping Wan-Bissaka second on the bench. Listening to a lot of podcasts and stuff. And yeah, so many people missed out because they had whoever they didn't really consider. So again, importance of considering your lineup on your bench if somebody doesn't start,
which is key. Because I think there was 2 or 3 different ones. I mean, we'll pick up on plays later on. There were 2 or 3 options that people either shuffled them too far down the line, or even consider them depending on the fixtures and
yeah.
stuff. It's one of them.
And it comes back to bite you in the backside sometimes if
It
you
does,
don't.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
It does, unfortunately.
Alright, Riz, give us how did you get on in game week 5? Give us the rundown.
Poor by my standards. I mean, I got 53 points overall. Didn't make any changes. I kept it. What let me down was the goal by Lamela in the end, because I had Robertson and Alisson in there at the Spurs game. So I was kind of banking on some decent points there, but that didn't materialise. The only defender that did well was Wan-Bissaka. He was there, he did alright. The rest got 2-2-2, so can't really say much.
Yeah.
And the story of the two just continues with Pedro and Salah. Well, obviously I had Salah as captain, so he doubled to 4. Didn't quite pay off. Maddison, I gotta admit, I had Mendy starting for me, but Maddison was my first in line with the auto sub, so I got some points there. Otherwise, it would have probably looked worse. Silva not doing it, Narkovic and Zaha, which I preferred up top. Had I probably kept Jimenez as well, then I could have got another 8 points, but decided.
Well, Jimenez, I don't know if you watched that game, he should have had at least another assist and at least 3 or 4 more goals. Wolves were kicking that game.
Yeah, they were doing really well, and Burnley were poor in that game, to be honest with you. Well, Raul Jimenez, the Mexican, he's showing signs of life again, because at one point, the reason why I left him on the bench was I didn't think he was going to play. He had a slight knock after the international duties and everything like that, you know.
That's been a key theme, I think. Keep hold of mental note of that. We've got to talk about that.
We'll discuss that. But yeah, so I've taken a drop from 41 to 44, dropped 3 places. Overall, 283 points is respectable. Up 47k to 946,000 overall, so you know, it's decent. I'm still in the top million.
So so you've still got green arrows, which is good.
But like I said, moving forward, I'm going to be maybe taking it a bit more seriously than I have done tonight. So let's see.
Right. Good stuff. Liam, give us yours. I was going to say the captain, Salah, 4 points. The only thing worse than a double 2 is your captain getting sent off.
A minus one or minuses or something like that. It's nothing worse.
Thankfully, I've never experienced that.
But to be honest with you, I don't think I've had a good captain run, because whereas you guys had Aguero, you were smashing it, and then you had someone else, and I'm just stuck with Salah. That's my only option at the minute. But he's going to come good. All right, so watch this space. Let's go.
Yeah, Liam.
That's right. Yeah, so I made 2 substitutions last week. I got rid of Arnautovic for Ings and Daniels from Bournemouth for Robertson. Robertson didn't pay off this week. Spurs getting that goal towards the end of the game kind of knackered it for me.
Yeah.
I think a lot of teams this week, from the big name defenders and big name teams, I don't think there was a clean sheet really amongst the top 6 from memory. If I am wrong, I am wrong. And I was really annoyed when Arnautovic scored, because I went, oh, for God's sake, I completely transferred him out, and then I was relying on him along with Jack Kendall. You boys know Jack. We were both talking and saying, we hope Ings comes off the bench and plays an absolute screamer. And luckily he got the goal that replaced Arnautovic.
Yeah.
So it worked out well. The rest of it, defence really. Put Tompkins in. Me and Hodgson on that telepathic communication. Wan-Bissaka and Tompkins saved the day for me at the back. So yeah, pretty good week. Went down to 31st from 30th, so I'm hovering around that 30 mark still. Overall, up 60,000 to 515,000.
Which is still good, which is, I'm surprised, because obviously, like you say with you guys, just above average points, but still getting the green arrows overall.
It must be people above struggling or something, we don't know. But hey, I'm not going to complain, Riz. I don't know about you. I would like to move the Power League more. Because I just seem to be bouncing around 30 to 32 and then back up again.
Around 40.
I'm there. Well, it's tricky without kind of sounding a bit like excuse-wise, making excuses. I'm in a couple of other leagues, and one of them I'm 6 and the other one I'm 1. So it's either trying to maintain that or the people behind me are 4. So
that's it, isn't it? My team, false 9. Not... Maybe a false dawn in the first 4 weeks, because not that I called it, not that I predicted it, but I was half expecting an average performance, which is what I kind of got. The average was 47 points. I got 42, just because I didn't make any transfers either, like yourself. Riz carried them over, mainly because I wanted to see after the international break what happens. Does that same set of players who did well in the first 4 weeks are they going to continue to
Two
perform?
was it again,
And maybe I was half proven right. So I mean, 42 points. Fabianski of the two keepers, which I'm going to change. One Begovic on the bench only got 2. Fabi got 3. Robertson, Alonso did me over. Alonso, captain away to flipping Cardiff.
They scored first as well, though,
Yeah.
Cardiff, and they put the cats among the pigeons.
Yeah.
Boom.
Wan-Bissaka to the rescue. Coincidentally, talking about Tompkins, now that Tompkins is back, whenever Tompkins and Saka are together, they usually get a clean sheet. So the omens are good there. 2s all across the board in midfield. And yeah, Aguero, Zaha 7. Mitrovic, he had a tough game. He had City, didn't he?
Yeah.
But I think Mitrovic is going to be back on it. And the bench fairly uninspiring as well. So that has taken me down from top spot. A little bit like Liverpool. Liverpool are not on top spot anymore, but just a point behind. But I'm down to 9th, 340 points, down 60,000 to 72,000 overall. So still very impressive by my standards.
Very good.
Yeah, best start ever, but I've got to get back on it. Got to get back on it. And that's what we're going to leave that and talk about, because Riz, I've got to bring this up with you that, my famous quote that I've coined now, it's gonna be swirling around Twitter sphere very soon.
Hashtag.
Yeah. Answer me this, yeah? So, Robertson, 2 points. Mendy doesn't play. Alonso, 2 points. All the midfield, Salah, Mane, Pedro, whoever you want, Bernardo Silva, 2s and 3s, yeah? Kante, Jorginho, whoever else. Strikers, okay, Aguero did it, but what do you call that when all your big name, your template players, the ones you rely on, talisman players if you like, don't perform in that week, and you get the likes of Fraser getting 18 and Jimenez getting 8 and whoever, there was someone else.
You see, this is intriguing as well for the viewers, because I'm just going to chuck this right back at you. And one thing that you always say, and you've had a debate recently as well with our so-called friend Saj, about luck and unlucky and stuff like that, freak week. I'll put it down to what you always say, it's probabilities, sooner or later, you're going to have that one bad performance and it's going to come all at once.
True, yeah.
It's going to be a case of, no one could have predicted Cardiff. Everyone would have probably thought Chelsea keep a clean sheet Cardiff.
Yeah.
Alright, Spurs you probably thought, but given the way Liverpool were playing last minute, you think, damn, they've scored. I was like upset, to be honest with you.
This is what this game does to you. It's what it does to you.
Rivalries aside, but I was like, oops.
We still won. That's the other side.
Yeah, well, I wish you didn't know. But going on to that as well, Jimenez, I mean, to be honest with you, he's been knocking on the door. The way he's been playing of late for Wolves.
True.
So you could probably say that was coming. In regards with Salah, we've talked about him quite a bit over the last 2 or 3 weeks. There's something wrong with Salah at the minute. I can't quite put my finger on, but I know that I'm not going to get rid of him personally.
Yeah.
Because sooner rather than later, as soon as I take him out, the guy's just going to pounce.
Well, that's the expected news next week against
So
Saints.
yes, but I agree where you come from in terms of using your favourite words. If you just want to tell the viewers what it is.
Freak week. Yeah, you're going to get these hashtag freak weeks, and they happened last year, and they're like a banana skin. Usually happen around double game weeks and blank game. Well, last year incidentally, blank game weeks were my highest scoring weeks. I did really well in blank game weeks. It was the double game weeks when you slap a triple captain on someone and you get 3 points back. Yeah, so those are freak weeks. Yeah,
Tarek did think Halloween's come early for him. That's why.
Yeah,
But
getting
all the skeletons out of the closet there.
Exactly. I mean, on another day, all these players score and do well, don't
you know what
they?
I mean? It's one of them. I think, to be honest with you, in terms of what you're saying with your team, especially having a look at it, I think the biggest point what I can make is seeing the Liverpool trio and all the teams actually suffering, apart from maybe anyone who had Firmino in their team. The likes of like Mane and Salah 2 points, and then Robertson, the ones that you probably think you rely on a lot more to get you 2 points, and that's probably why I can see where you're coming from in regards that you couldn't see
This is it, yeah. Because usually there's a theory, a principle that out your 11, 6 or 7 players should be your big bang players, the ones who deliver every week. And so when
that's the same in real football, isn't it?
Essentially, but yeah. Well, some teams are just one man teams,
no,
aren't they?
Therefore, but On the flip side, before we get going, guys, if you want to like, share and subscribe, get on our Twitter handle as well, at fulltime Banter7. Let us know, what do you think? Is it just a coincidence that these top players are in the sides, high value players, the points, is that coincidence that they've all seemed to have one bad nightmare of a weekend? Yeah. Or is it just a case of maybe people not being shrewd enough in making the changes? Maybe we should have made changes or held them back for that reason. True. So give us a shout. But what can we do to fix it, Tariq? Because I know you're a man who likes to have a plan.
Yeah, well, this is it.
What can you do, lad?
This is what I was saying. The reason why I was half expecting it is because, again, I didn't make a transfer just for the sake of having transfers to make. So I kept it to gather more data, because people who wildcard, I mean, imagine this scenario. There's the people who've wildcarded and brought all these players in on a wildcard, like Simi, was it? Or
no, the other chap, Joseph Khan. Yeah. Joseph Khan.
Well, I don't know what he was picking his players off. It wasn't form. But people wildcarded and brought all these players in this week on a wildcard and completely flopped. So data, that's what data mining, looking at what's happening, looking at the trends. And again, the point on form here, because obviously some people say we look at form, look at fixtures. We've got to split form in two as well. Form of the player and form of the team around him. So again, this is an example, maybe in the instance of Salah especially, his form is suffering at the moment. His stats are there, but his actual points return is suffering. But the midfield and the defence behind him in Liverpool are absolutely rock solid.
Doing a lot better.
They are the ones who are dragging us through the games and getting us the wins.
That's it. But you mentioned that, and I'm going to flip the coin from a different angle. Yeah. So looking at it, that we talk about form and we talk about stats, but his stats are showing all the right signs. Yeah. It's showing that the form is going to come. It's just temporary at the minute. You know what I mean? Then sooner rather than later, he's going to blossom into the player that we're hoping he was last year. Yeah. I mean, not too much from Liverpool's point of view, but even from my fantasy greedy point of view. But he's showing signs, and sometimes you've got to mirror that and think, right, form, stats, team form.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, what a lot of people don't take into consideration, Tariq, and this is my biggest pet hate, is they don't look at the opposition they're playing against.
Which seems bizarre, doesn't it?
Yeah, because if you're coming up against a team that's done really well, that's maybe won a couple of games on the bounce or something, or just had a player or two that have been really performing, you think, right, they're going to be up for it. No matter how good a team you are, they're going to come out and they're going to perform. So you've got to expect a tougher challenge. You can't just expect an easy ride. And the Premier League shows that people discount that. And that's where I kind of think, hang on a minute, what are you doing?
It's a brilliant point, because it's entirely relevant to something I read today. I'm going to give a shout out to @FPL Connect. FPL Connect, very good article they put up today. I'm just answering some questions, but on keeper rotation, which is what obviously I've employed and I'm a big fan of. 2 budget keepers rotate the home keeper.
Yeah.
But you're saying, well, that scenario applies exactly there. What if one keeper's at home, but the away team who's coming is bang on fire? There's no guarantee that the home keeper's going to get you any points.
I don't ever go off that home keeper scenario. I look at who they're playing.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this week I'm knackered because it's 2 big teams, so I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Well, you see, there's 3 different opinions, because I go with set and forget. Yeah. That's my rule. I've had Alisson from the beginning. I mean, although I've got Fabianski there as a leeway kind of thing, I've not used it once at all. I'm just like, whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the shows strategically, every manager in the FPL has got different
things differently,
things and different mindsets.
What makes it a wonderful game,
which is what it is in regards with that. But how are we going to resolve your dilemma in terms of what you do for next week? Then what do you have up your sleeves to get back to where you want to be?
We'll come to that at the end, because there's a quick few points I want to bring in, and hopefully bring in Liam as well, because the next point I've got down and wanted to discuss, which was, I've been messaging, it's been doing my head in this week, is the Hazard dilemma. Hazard / Salah / Aguero Mane, and I'm going to bring Eriksen into this as well. What are your thoughts on Spurs and Eriksen? And then I'll give you a little bit of what I've read around it.
Well, Spurs, obviously,
Spurs be spurring on.
They do. I've got a bit of a pet peeve with this at the minute, because this scenario was happening with United a couple of weeks back, and it was massive, and it was on everything. The back pages were full of it. Spurs have done it, and it's getting half the amount of press. And Pochettino's throwing a massive wobbly with his cows, watching the trains and knowing what time they come. And trains are always late, so it's
about?
no idea. Spurs in general, they've got a very good run of fixtures coming up. 2s and 3s who they've got Brighton, Huddersfield, Cardiff, and West Ham. So in theory, this would be a good time to go on a run, get some points. Good for the old confidence boost, which they do need, especially after last night's performance.
Yeah, we're going to talk in part 2 about Champions League, so make sure to tune into that. But that obviously is influential.
Yes. I'm going to make 2 points very quickly on that Spurs thing that you said. Brighton and normals. I've always said this. I've said that to you before.
Yeah, first episode.
Yeah. The other fixtures there, Cardiff possibly, Huddersfield possibly, yeah. But at the minute, the way they're playing, I'd be very surprised, if they actually end up battering them 4-5-6-0. I expect very tight, close games unless they start to click. Because at the minute, this is Spurs' problem.
Yeah.
In the Premier League, they are showing that they're going to end up regretting not signing anyone in the transfer window.
I don't know if it's even just that. I mean, fair enough it is, because they need another playmaker aside from Eriksen.
And they need a striker, T.
True.
It's a lot of reliances on Kane.
Yeah.
If Kane is what we're hearing at the moment, fatigue, international overload, this, that, the other expectations.
I think it's simply down to he's not getting enough sleep because of his new baby. It could just be simple.
Well, it could be, but then that's what I'm saying. So then, there is that element of where you think, hang on a minute, let's put someone else in. And obviously Mora's trying to take a bit of burden off him, and before we've seen Son do that previously in last season when he's come on and helped Kane out a bit and relieved a bit of pressure. But when you look around that Spurs team at the moment, there doesn't seem to be anyone that you can say, right, this guy, if Kane wasn't playing, is going to get you goals, other than maybe possibly Eriksen from his set pieces. Even Ali's drying up.
Ali's injured. He's been out of form since last season some point.
I think that's sorry.
Go on,
No. It's about Trippier. Go on.
Right. I was going to say, going back to the Liverpool game, the things I saw in that game, because I don't think we covered that. They were narrow. They played, a daft formation
was just going to be
straight down the middle, which played into Liverpool's hands.
Like a 1-1-1-1-1-1.
Exactly. Fullbacks are providing the width, which again plays into our hands, because the right side is notoriously weaker when Trippier goes up and attacks, and that's where we attacked. Apart from Eriksen, there's nobody creative, and that was evident last night as well. I watched the first half of the Inter game, Spurs-Inter. After Eriksen, they're relying on Kieran Trippier. Is their second assist?
That's it, exactly. So there's somewhere amiss there. So in terms of all the like I said, going back to the initial thing, I know we can talk
Eriksen,
about that.
are you keeping
Eriksen,
because I know
Salah.
we've digressed slightly from. We'll come back to the Hazard Salah, the Eriksen one. Are you gonna? Because I know I've been pestering you, taking the Mickey to get rid of him, but I've changed my mind. What are you gonna do now?
I was thinking of getting rid. You bugger! You flipped around on me. He's mind gaming me.
He's bringing him in.
Well,
again, his stats are there. He's doing a bit like a Salah. His stats are up
Someone's
there.
going to come.
But no, to be fair, I'm kind of winding because again, going back to Riz's point of against Brighton, they're not going to turn Brighton over.
No.
And against Huddersfield, Cardiff, they're not going to get the 4s and 5s like you said. So I won't be jumping on anyone from Spurs.
No.
If you put a gun to my head, I'd go for Mora.
At the moment, yeah.
At the value he's at.
I wouldn't go for Trippier, even though we've had a bit of an indication. Aurier started last night, so Trippier's going to play the league game.
Play the league, yeah.
But even then. Yeah, so...
And personally for me, I've done a bit of tinkering, because I've got one transfer in the bank, I think, and I can get Hazard in, and Richarlison.
Do explain how, because this is what's been doing my nutting all week.
For me personally, I think I've got 0.3 in the bank. Don't know.
I got double.
Making it rain over there, Riz. So I'd get rid of Silva for Richarlison, and I think with the money that I have then, I think I can get Hazard in for Eriksen.
You can, because what is
10.8?
10.4?
Eriksen is 10.4, I think.
10.4. Yes, you got enough anyway.
Mine is 10.0.
And you got left over for
Eriksen's 9.3, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, Ellington is lower.
Okay,
Ellington is lower.
okay.
It's about
Ooh, it's tight. It's tight.
I think I'm left with 0.1.
Okay.
So I think.
Have you checked that? Because obviously
Yeah,
selling
I did,
prices.
Yeah, I did. This was the other day. I did it, and it.
He's taking a -4. He's alright. He's taking -4.
I'm thinking that. Oh, what I might do is, I'm away the weekend sadly, but get my brother as soon as it kicks off the first game, get on it and just make those 2 transfers for me. So then I beat the rush, and Hazard's price won't rock it up.
But then,
So it's
what happens if he gets injured?
During the game,
It's
gets a
fine.
red card.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
It's fine.
Like screwed.
The Hazard thing. I've been
So yeah, I'm looking at getting Hazard in.
getting Hazard.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to jump on the Hazard bandwagon.
Ideally, I might wait a week and bring Richarlison in this week, and then just see what happens. But I think Eriksen might be going, which is sad because he's been a stalwart of my team
Interesting.
ever since I've started this.
I feel sorry for him in that Spurs team at the moment.
Yeah.
He's doing all the dog's work, getting nothing for
He's
it.
not a player to do that either, is he? He's
No.
not the
No.
long busting runs kind of guy. But yeah,
Riz, sorry, you do, yeah.
yeah.
Riz, where do you stand on the whole Hazard in or out, Salah?
I think
in or out?
it's very interesting, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I mean, obviously, I like Salah. I think, for whatever reasons, irrespective of being Liverpool player, I just like
Love
Salah. It's one of
Everybody
them.
loves Salah.
At the price he's at, I've invested that much money into him. I'm just going to keep him because I know sooner rather than later he's going to come good. Maybe I've kind of put all my eggs in one basket with him at the minute, but I'm going to stick true to my word, do that. However, I do have a plan if I wanted to bring in Hazard, what it would mean possibly taking like a -4 by getting rid of one additional Chelsea player, because I've got 3 in the squad already, with Alonso, Aspilicueta and Pedro.
I didn't notice, I just looked at your team now, I didn't realise you had Aspilicueta.
Yeah.
Is he bringing in any points at
Nothing
all?
at the minute.
Right,
was gonna say,
so it's
don't
like
know.
6 point odd.
I've
But
not even heard his name mentioned at
well,
all.
listen, like I said to you before, I put him in I think game week 3 or something, but I've not been taking the thing anyway. Plus, I think to be honest with you, I think either the cleaner or the maintenance person put that.
Okay, that was his pick, was it?
So I've just left him in there. But I've got options there if I want to, because I can downgrade to a couple of Wolves defenders if I wanted to. I could potentially just go with a set and forget, proper cheap defender and leave him there, and then increase the funds to bring in Hazard, which would potentially risk not having a -4. So I've got plenty of options there. At the minute, I don't know, I'm not 100% confident in bringing Salah in, purely because
Hazard.
Hazard in, because of at the moment he's got decent run of fixtures, but then they're playing like the top teams. They're going to be playing Liverpool versus Chelsea again,
Playing United.
playing United as
But
well.
he does do okay against United.
But again, it depends. It just depends on how Sarri's going to set up. Because Sarri said, and it's ambitious, 40 goals he can see him scoring this season. And I'll probably won't go against you, Sarri, but
Well,
I don't think at the
but he's
moment.
actually said to, because after that game, what did he got the hat trick?
Yeah.
And Sarri's saying, no, I want him playing further
He
forward.
goes, forget defensive.
Yeah.
He goes, listen, I don't want you to do that. And maybe if he's doing that and he's got the license,
The signs are good.
signs are good. But I've got an option if I wanted to bring him in. However, I'm unsure. But I do know one thing. Whoever I change for my midfield is going to be Bernard Silva. Bernardo.
Yeah.
I call him Bernardo.
Yeah.
He's had his time with me, I think. So,
Long enough, he's done.
Yeah,
He's had 2
yeah,
returns in
yeah.
6 weeks, 5 weeks.
so maybe, another option is his fellow teammate, the other Silva.
Yes.
That lining in the cloud looks good, but everything else.
More expensive, don't you?
He is, but like I said, I've got options. I mean, I've got 2 transfers in the bank, and depending on whether I want Hazard, whether I want Silva, whether I want to bring Mane in. I'm spoiled for choice here.
Same, I've got 2 transfers burning a hole in my pocket, honestly. But earlier in the week, I wanted Hazard, and I thought, gotta have him, gonna miss out again. And I hated wanting to have him because, I don't know if you still remember, he's absolutely trolled me last season. I had him for
You got burnt.
so long. I had him for God knows how many weeks.
About 6 weeks or something. I mean.
Longer than that, I think.
Was it longer?
I think Lingard was only 6 weeks. And did nothing for me. And Walcott was about 6 weeks and did nothing for me. So Hazard, I kept him for a long, long time.
Stay away from Walcott, mate.
Yeah, definitely. That's why. All you muggers went Walcott after Richarlison. Should have listened. But and now I've taught myself out of wanting Hazard.
Doing it.
I got to the point of actually almost wanting to wildcard to get him in and completely change the team, but it just unsettles it, unbalances. No, it unbalances the whole team.
Do you want to get back to the top or not?
I do, and I am going to do it.
Psychologically.
I am. See, this is it. If I get Hazard, he's going to flop. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it.
But
So
you don't know what if he does.
He's not.
He does.
He's worked out his probabilities.
Do it. Do
You
it.
know,
I can see
you know
how
what you
to
should do, Tarek? Get your wild card,
Yeah,
get yourself Ericsson,
yeah.
get yourself Hazard,
And Walcott.
get yourself Walcott, get
And
yourself
Lingard.
J-Links.
Yeah.
You're boxed.
Oh yeah. Straight to the bottom, sink like a stone. But no. Anyway, we'll come back to that. Hazard, Salah, Aguero is causing a lot of people strife. That. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be inconsistent. I'm going to wait and see.
Okay.
If he's going off last year's form, which is, to be fair, he's improved upon, he's going to be up and down.
You're showing signs.
Yeah, but I'm going to give Salah and Mane one more week because everyone, I don't see it, but everyone's talking him up against Saints, saying, you know...
Saints ain't going to be an easy game, you know.
That's what I think.
Because I think they've been on a decent run of form at the minute. Mark Hughes seems to have brought in some stability within the team, and I think he's got a team that he knows he wants to play.
I mean, Ings isn't playing, so they might not score.
No, but then again, if, for example, for argument's sake, if the Southampton team who played against City, who just about lost near the last minute when Guardiola went over to him and saying this, that, the other, if that Southampton turn up and
I think
they make it
past
tough,
that, yeah.
but I'm saying they're gonna come out and set their stall up either way, and they're gonna have a game plan. And
because this is what I was thinking. I'm reading this, you know, past couple of days, everyone's saying the reason why they're keeping Salah or Mane is because they're going to smash Saints. And I'm thinking, have I missed something about Saints? I've not seen them get
They do it outright.
Yeah,
possibly, but then again, having said that, irrespective, is 5 out of 5 in the league. Okay, and I know I'm bringing this up as a United fan, but the informed team alongside Chelsea at the moment.
Yeah.
And irrespective of Champions League midweek recently, they are going to be on a high. They want to come out, and they've still got a point to prove now because they've got that bullseye on their backs, and they're the target. They're the ones to catch. There's not going to be any let up. And you know, all this talk about Mane, Salah playing greedy, not passing to each other, this, that, the other. There's a bit of animosity.
It's going to be
Meluran
and Wijnaldum.
I personally think yes, Saints might not be as easy what everyone thinks, but I don't think it's going to be that difficult either. And that's why I put my trust in Salah as captain.
Granted, I expect the win, no doubt. I think we're at home as well, aren't we?
Yeah,
I
I
can't
believe
remember. But I don't see us smashing them like people are saying. Like Salah's going to get the hat trick this week. But we'll captain him anyway, just in case. Yeah. We'll talk about that. We're taking a little longer than expected, but let's carry on.
Just very quickly on that point with captain picks as well. It's been weird and wonderful, these captain picks over the last few weeks.
Yeah, tell me about it.
You know,
Alonso should have been a banker at Cardiff.
It's just like
better, are you, mate?
Not at all. Alonso, don't do it again. Otherwise,
well, it's like, you know, sometimes you can be too spoiled for choice within your teams. You know, it's like I've only got the one, and I'm sticking with him at the minute. But you know, when you've got 3 or 4 different options as captain, it's like, where do you go? Where do you join the dots? You sometimes end up talking yourself out of it. So that'll be interesting to see what a lot of people do.
Next quick question then. We can't have a debate on this one. Quick yes or no. Are we breaking up the leftist triumvirate, Alonso, Robertson, Mendy being a crucial one? Are we breaking it up? Are we dropping him, getting rid?
Personally speaking, no. Mendy is possibly likely to play. I mean, he is injured, but 2 valuable assets, all 3 of them, and they're kind of pretty much a template of what a back 3 should look like, so stick with them.
I've only got 2 of them. I have no Alonso. So I will be, mate, I'm fine, I've got my power scores. I don't need them. So
That's true point.
I've got them 2, Wan-Bissaka and Tompkins. I don't need Alonso, so I'm still happy with them 2.
Cool.
Any injury that comes, I can...
Yeah, I've got him. Gonna keep him. The news is, so I'm hearing in some places it's a few weeks, but that seems unlikely.
It is one of them...
I'm willing to keep him on the bench for
Because
It's
it's
not
not
the
making
2
other
weeks.
transfers, it messes
Yeah.
with your money.
Listen, even
Yeah.
then, even if I do keep him on the bench, I've still got, like you said, got one Bissaka there
Yeah.
as well. And the other option that I've got is Aspilicueta.
So yeah, we're not dropping Mendy straight away. This brings us on to that point now, which should be a lesson to everyone about when we talk about Fraser coming in and playing. Who were the other injured players who weren't expected to play? Who came in and played. Zaha came in and played.
Zaha was in.
Ings himself
Ings, yeah.
came in and played, and these were the highest transferred out players amongst the highest. Yeah, so again, you need to get on the Twitter, look at the news feeds, look at injury updates. At Ben Dinnery is a particularly good one. FPL Physio, they give you the breakdown, they get the news from the sources at the clubs essentially and tell you how close they are to returning. And all the news was with those players that yes, Zaha would return, even if it was only 50%. He was going to play. And they all came out and played. And Fraser, people transferred him out, he comes in and bangs it in and gets 18
some people had him
points.
on the bench as well, so
Yeah.
they missed out on.
I mean, incidentally, in that game, I think Pereira at Leicester had Fraser in his team, and so he just moved out of the way and let Fraser have the run of the pitch in that game.
Go on,
Yeah.
With that one, just very quickly, as well with Fraser, I mean, I've discussed it with you. I personally think it's a false dawn with Fraser.
You're saying, yeah, because
I
want to get him in with.
I know, listen, at 5.7, in the form that he's in at the moment, definitely value for money. My other thing is, take caution. I mean, obviously there isn't other players within that budget that would allow you to maybe do that, because the ones you're looking at are then like CDMs or maybe even Pereira at 6.3 at Watford.
Yeah.
But I just think his form is a bit false. I mean, first game against Cardiff, he done well, he got double points, he got 11 points. Then after that, he got 6 points, he got 1 assist, then 2 points, and then 18 points here with 2 goals there. For what he is, great. But I don't think with Bournemouth, with the fixtures coming up and everything, they're going to have a level playing field.
The fixtures are improving.
They are.
Relative to their standard.
Yeah.
And those were the ones where you say, obviously they have difficult fixtures. And in his defence, I'm going to say, he is a playmaker, he's their most creative player.
He is, but again, I come back to that point of you talk realistically about your midfield. You've got 4 or 5 midfield players, yeah? Are you then going to end up going with a 5 in midfield, or are you going to end up going with 4 in midfield? If you generally go with a back 5, how are you going to do it? Because then if you bring in someone in just for the sake of it, because they've got a bit of credibility behind them in terms of form and points, or you to then make them just sit on the bench.
No, he's going to play.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So this is your options.
Yeah.
So who then do you get?
I'll tell you
from
I'll
your
tell
midfield?
you, Riz.
Because your midfield looks pretty decent at the moment.
I'm going to tell you, we'll talk to that. Richarlison, are you bringing him straight back in?
Yes.
Yeah.
In for Silver.
You kept him, didn't you?
Yeah, well, he's kept him. He's starting.
He's back down to his original price, so I'm not losing.
Yeah.
Not losing any money now.
Because again, some people are questioning whether he's going to be match fit.
It's against Arsenal they're playing, aren't they?
Arsenal away, which I think he can still do well.
Arsenal defence and playing out from the back. Richarlison will be hot on the heels.
Exactly. And people are questioning his match fitness, but they've obviously
he's played against
forgotten that he
Brazil
played
game.
Brazil got his debut.
So.
Played as a
goals.
forward.
2 goals, was it?
2 goals, yeah, playing as a forward. So I think, they're saying that even Marco Silva's potentially picked up on this and might end up dropping Tosin and playing Richarlison as a forward.
That's it.
Yeah, so personally, he's coming in next week for me.
No problem.
Dropping Pedro, keeping Pedro for the Cardiff game because I'm not getting Hazard. So Pedro for the Cardiff game, and then Pedro's going. Unless Pedro absolutely likes
Cardiff game, they've just had the Cardiff game.
Who was it? Not West Ham.
West Ham game.
Yeah, West Ham game. Which again, I think is going to be tougher than people think for Chelsea.
West Ham just won their first game as well over the weekend, so
They're on a bit
that'll
behind.
be interesting.
Yeah.
And I think Pellegrini has possibly just about got his tactics right, although I would question if there is no Arnautovic because everything is just coming through him at the minute with a slight injury.
Yeah. So the may concede.
So you're thinking of getting rid of Pedro Fraser?
No, this week I'm thinking my 2 transfers, Neves and Tarkovsky out. Yeah, so potentially
Tarkowski
2 weak
Burnley,
players.
yeah.
And
how much you got in the bank?
nothing.
So he's at 5. Tarkowski's 5.
Yeah.
5.3 is never.
5.2 Nevers. I've done it, it works, Riz. It works, trust me.
Okay.
Yeah, them two, potentially my weakest
He's
players.
probably getting one of the Wolves.
I'm getting Fraser, and yes, perfectly onto the next point. I am getting in on the Wolves defence. Yeah, so I'm spoiled for choice there.
Are you going for Ole, or are you going for Brother Johnny?
You can go for any Wolves
Well, are you
defender.
going for the good old Irishman, Doherty?
I am favouring Doherty, actually. Because they've all got different strengths.
That was my attempt at a poor Irish accent.
Reasonable. To do an Irish accent with a hatred is quite difficult as well, actually. But never mind. But yeah, different options. Bolly.
4.5.
Yeah. Doherty.
4.4.
And
Johnny Bennett 4.1.
Let's disregard Johnny for a minute because Johnny's just outside the.
I think Johnny's actually doing better than Bennett at the moment.
Yeah.
No, they're both 4.1. But
they all offer a different threat though. One offers assists, one offers a goal threat, and one gives you the clean sheet bonus and the bonus points.
And the blocks.
Yeah, exactly. So all three are in there. So I'm favouring.
It's a good price. So even if you go for Bolly at 4.5, that gives you 0.5, and the Never's been 5.2. Is that your selling price at 5.2?
Yes.
Then you can bring
5.7.
Yes. So
it works perfectly.
Yeah. Let's hope there's no price rises in between now.
Yeah. If there is, I'm cashing in early. But this was it. Hazard was just messing up my team. It wouldn't work with Mane and Pedro. I'm 0.1 short to get Hazard and Fraser.
I'll loan you that. I've got 6 in the bank.
Yeah, and I don't want anyone else apart from Fraser. Otherwise, it would have to be.
So who do you
Salah.
drop to the bench? And that's interesting conversation for me and you to have then, because you've got.
Doherty and well, for the time being.
Because then you've got Tarkowski on the bench, and if you bring Doherty in, is he going straight to your bench, or Bolly to the bench, or Bennett, or whoever? You know, how are you going to work this out with your starting lineup? Because I'm trying to figure out.
Let me worry about that once I've got. I'm going to play a 12 man team. I'm going to drop Fabianski and play 11 outfield players. Yeah. We'll come to that.
I'll let you sweat on that.
Right. I think we're pretty much done there. Liam, anything else you wanted to add particularly? Any questions you got?
Good, apart from I think Wolves have a defender called Vinaigrette. Or Vinaigrette, who I think he's going to be the perfect blend, bit of a saucy character and have a very good season.
Is that going to be a bit malt of vinegar, bro?
Yeah. I just wanted to throw in some
fair play. But before we do
the defence,
before we wrap up, one thing that I just want to point out there, which has just come to my head.
Sound effect.
Oh, sound effect. No, Willian,
yeah.
Willian.
They're being rotated though, aren't they?
However, given his cameo when he came on against Cardiff.
This is it. Whoever comes off the bench ends up doing well for Chelsea.
And his price is very good at the minute. And
I'm not going near Willian. Don't, no. Yeah.
What does he smell?
No, I'm just trying to...
Playing mind games. It's just bizarre. Whoever comes off the bench for Chelsea ends up doing well.
Nah, fair play.
That's that. If you've got any questions, do get them in. Send them in via Twitter or send them in the comment section. Anything for next week you want us to ask us or look at.
Boss, your Twitter handle, Liam, he's not even said it. He just said send it on Twitter, come on.
Full-time Banter 7.
At
full-time.
You should have memorised it.
Yeah, you should know it by now. Yeah.
Like, share and subscribe as well, please, guys. Thank you.
But yeah, I'm going to be getting back up that table.
Sweet. Excellent.
This is it. Tune in to part 2, or the football section, where we're going to be looking at last night's Champions League games and the ones happening right now. It's Wednesday night. We've got live scores. So yeah, goodbye. See you shortly.
Thank you.